Let's get more on this story. We're joined by Lancaster University's Dr. Robert Gutsche from Miami. Robert, lovely to talk to you again. Well, the aftermath of Epstein's apparent suicide has become very ugly politically.
Yeah, this is quite complicated. Instead of just looking at the acts of what one man did within his own enterprise, this certainly has been very clearly connected to larger power systems and struggles that have actually led to the resignation of the labor secretary under Trump because of his failure to prosecute adequately what was really going on down here in Florida.
Do you think it's because of these connections to high places, we understand, royalty to other, top business people, even potentially presidents, that has made this so murky with all these conspiracy theories coming out?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, certainly we also have to understand that the Clintons, which is, where the story kind of has gone through this conspiracy theory, they're the arch enemy for Donald Trump, not only in his campaign, but for those who support him. The Clintons came into power as kind of a Slick Willie sort of idea, with Bill Clinton, ousting the first George Bush and coming in from a conservative rallying time for those in this country, to a cultural awakening in some ways during the Clinton administration. And that has a lot of resentment for those who were concerned about prayer in school and about the rise of LGBTQ rights. And so this conspiracy theory fits because it goes into that anti-Clinton narrative.
But isn't it, could the Clintons even take legal action against commentary that, that there's potential, if he was killed, to look to the Clintons?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but certainly in the U.S., the speech laws really do protect the person who is speaking. And as the Clintons are public officials, it would be very hard to show how this is really damaging to them. But what it does is it moves us away from asking the questions about what does Donald Trump's connection to Epstein really mean, not only as we saw in the reporting, the personal connections, but also the political connections, as we saw with the labor secretary having to resign. And so this is a distraction. I mean, the real conspiracy theory here would be, what did Donald Trump get to gain by Epstein's death? But that isn't one that we really see being floated about.
Indeed. Now, in terms of these investigations, Robert, do you think now that, of course, he has died, the personal trial against him stops, will there be more uncovered? Will there be investigations that continue to try and uncover the depth of his linkages to so many other people?
Well, I certainly don't want to further conspiracy theories, but the further that the investigations go, the more people will come out of the woodwork. And I do think that certainly we've seen how this president operates, that it isn't, using hush money, for example, it isn't too out there to consider that those investigations might not go too far. Certainly we saw that in his own behavior with FBI investigations into his potential involvement in Russian hacking in 2016 election. So the sad part here is that the victims are not going to get their day in court and are going to continue to have to suffer through what happened. Certainly, I think we should be concerned about the treatment of inmates, and in this case, why a suicide watch ended for Epstein. And I think those types of investigations not only will find that there were probably some issues within the criminal justice system, which isn't a big surprise, but also that there may be some scapegoating going on.
And also, just in terms of the office of the president, how damaging is it for Donald Trump as the president of the United States to be floating these kind of conspiracy theories as well?
This answer isn't to diminish the question, but my research and my time and my being here even in Miami of all places, is that these are seen as jokes, just as much as they are seen as serious accusations, particularly among Trump supporters. And so it's kind of a tongue in cheek, but it's also a serious, oh yeah, I know those Clintons are really dangerous folk, aren't they? And so for him, it really does have a psychological impact on his supporters to, again, be a rallying cry and, again, distract from whatever involvement he might have had in, these types of behaviors or these relationships.
Indeed. Robert, always good to get your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.